the co-founder of Status Pro and NFL Pro Era, which is available on the Oculus Store and PlayStation VR just in time for the holidays, is none other than Andrew Hawkins. Good to see you, Hawk.
Good to see you, Rich.
Last time you were here, TJ was stumbling into walls, with the Oculus on.
I'm still
playing
tripping,
the game.
man.
And and then you were completing passes like Cooper Rush,
Well, it was
No,
actually.
but at the time, you were mimicking Cooper Rush at the time.
I'm still saying that was the greatest game I've ever played.
Yes, I love it. I need that soundbite.
It really was.
Yeah, I mean, how's it going?
Great, man. Great. It's a little surreal because it's you build something, you're in the trenches with it for so long, and then it finally comes out, and you get those butterflies. You don't know how it's actually going to perform.
Yeah.
And people have responded in a huge fashion, man. Even bigger than me and my co-founder Troy. Shout out to Status Pro TJ.
Mm-hmm.
But bigger than we could have imagined. So it's kudos to the team that we had, which has been incredible. But people genuinely loving the product is just an awesome feeling. It feels like when I finally made it to the NFL.
That's pretty cool. That's awesome. And Meta released their holiday campaign last week. There was an NFL Pro Hour spot during Thursday Night Football.
Rich, we have a commercial.
Isn't that great?
It's nuts. It really is. I'm not just saying that. It's, we spent so much time, and then we're watching these NFL games, the games I used to play in.
Yes.
And I'm actually how I seen that it was on, because obviously we've worked on it for a while and in partnership with Meta, and I'm on FaceTime with my wife, and I didn't know the commercial was coming on during the game, and so we're FaceTiming. And I hear it in the background, and I'm like, dude, I got to get away from my laptop because now it's playing in my brain, right? And then I'm like, wait a minute, that's our commercial.
I love it. Andrew Hawkins here on the Rich Eisen Show. Our terrestrial radio audience just returning. You're telling a story about how, again, NFL Pro Era, your VR game, your VR sports game, there was a commercial during an Amazon Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool.
It is awesome, man. It is awesome. It's a great feeling. We have over 200 million views of organic content on our game. So people playing the game. So it's goes viral every week. So you got to try it. I know you haven't yet, but next time I'm going to bring my headset, and you're going to get in the headset.
I totally want it. I mean, I've got my, we have an Oculus at home. I'll have the kids play it. We'll do it for
I was
sure.
hoping he's going to bring one today.
1,000,000%. No, it's all good. So at least, again, with your commercial having run successfully on Amazon Prime, you're way ahead of NFL Network's first ever nationally televised commercial, because our first commercial was in the Super Bowl. Okay. And it was right after the halftime musical act was done. So we were so psyched that it was going to be in that first commercial pod, to use a TV term, right after halftime. The whole country was going to watch, except for the fact that Justin Timberlake had a wardrobe malfunction with Janet Jackson, and nobody saw our commercial. No, when I say nobody saw our commercial, nobody saw it.
Now that you mentioned it, I've heard people talk about Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson, that moment for a long. No one ever mentions your commercial.
Ever?
Never. It's never a part of the conversation.
You know what? That's why I'm here to talk about it. So at least you didn't have that happen for your spot during the football game. You're way ahead of NFL Network, which has been here 19 years later. So
there you go.
Look at you. Andrew Hawkins, I need you to tell me, what do you think is happening in the Indianapolis Colts locker room today?
What are the players thinking?
What do you think is happening in that locker room today? Yes.
There is I'm positive there is an overwhelming feeling of what the hell is going on, but in a funny way. Cause you get to these, when I was in Cleveland, we had some seasons, we had some turmoil. This is the Johnny football years. Josh Gordon was going through some issues. We had some stuff, and when these moments happen, you sit in these circles and you're trying to make sense of it all. And for a lot of the times, you just can't do it. And this is one of those situations that they're like, well, how the heck are we going to listen to a coach who has no idea what's going on? He hasn't been in the locker room. And not that he doesn't know football, because Jeff Saturday, premium human being, premium football mind, incredible person, probably will be, if he wanted to, a successful head coach in short order. But just in the fashion that he came through of this, it takes so much to build this chemistry in this kind of locker room and to build a team. You coming in blank with kind of no prior visibility into all the mechanisms and inner workings, it's tough. we're all grown. This is like an NFL coach is not like a high school coach or a college coach.
Well, by the way, I have to push back because Jeff Saturday just was a high school coach.
He was
2 days ago.
He was
just yesterday morning. He woke up as a high school coach,
and he was probably very successful too. He's probably incredible. But the thing about high school and college is, like, you are the authoritative figure.
Yes.
Right? And we sometimes think, oh, that's the head coach of the NFL. He's the authoritative figure. Yes, he is, but you're more like co-workers, right? Like, you're not the highest paid person in the locker room. There's players that are the highest paid people in the locker room. And we opt into this relationship of what we want out of it. And at some point, if you don't feel like your co-workers, whether that's in the front office, ownership, or whatever, are putting that in, it does change the way you go about your business.
But Jeff Saturday does know that dynamic, right? Because he used to be
course.
involved in that. The problem is, though, is the situation in which he's entering is one that is just on its face, even if Frank Reich was still there, a complete and total mess on the offensive side of the ball. And I guess let me drill down a little deeper, Andrew Hawkins. What's it like to be in the wide receiver room coming off of that game? No, they were 0 for 14 on third downs. This young man is still trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
And now there's no professional play caller in the system right now. Whoever's going to call the plays, it's his first ever play. The first offensive snap for the Colts in Las Vegas on Sunday will be called by somebody. That will be his first ever professional play call
There's
in the NFL.
There's two people in this situation that I feel the worst for. One is Jeff Saturday, right? Because I go to Dave & Buster's a lot with my kids, right?
Okay.
Arcades. And the whole point of Dave & Buster's, you play the game, you try to get as many tickets as possible. I don't like Dave & Buster's like 95% of the games because I have no control over winning. So what I do is I go play, there's one called like Kung Fu Panda, where you got to hit it a certain amount of times, but it literally is like how fast your hands are. And I feel good about my ability to rack up the tickets. The other one is the quarterback one. We have to throw it in the holes and you get, if you beat the high score.
Yes.
And so I literally just play those two the entire time, and I rack the tickets up because I can control it. Jeff Saturday is going into Dave & Buster's, and there's no Kung Fu Panda. There's no quarterback game for him. He doesn't even know these offensive plays, so he has to rely on the people that have been there, even just for terminology. Even if he wants to run a play, he has to say, "Hey, what do you guys call what do you call a flat hitch here?" Oh, okay, call that play. So it's literally in somebody else's hands. So he's the first person I feel bad for because the cards are stacked against him. Number two is Marcus Brady, who was the offensive coordinator there 7 days ago, and they fired. He wasn't the play caller, but he got fired as the offensive coordinator when he wasn't calling the plays. And here we are 6 days later, the actual play caller and Frank Reich gets fired, and now there's nobody in the locker room who has the ability to call the plays. You know who would have been perfect for that?
Marcus
Brady. So in this situation, I think he's the biggest loser right now in the situation. And then Jeff Saturday is number two because, not to saying he won't be successful. Again, I love Jeff. I think Jeff Saturday is incredible. But the cards are stacked against him. So it's a tough situation to go into.
And I find it fascinating that you chose those two guys and not, say, Michael Pittman Jr. or because these are the guys who want to ball out and have the ability. Alec Pierce is a rookie. He must be looking around saying, "Man, that was great on Cincinnati last year."
Yeah.
I mean, just looking around, just wondering, how does this work? And Jonathan Taylor is hurt. The offensive line has been dreadful all season long. This just has it. There's really no words for it. I've never heard of anything close to this before.
It's crazy. It really, I mean, it's crazy. I feel like I'm a little bit in the twilight zone. And to your point, even about the Jeff Saturday thing, I had to go through this with Josh McCown, right?
What do you mean?
Josh McCown is one of my dearest, closest friends ever. He is salt of the earth. If he ran for president today, I would vote for him. Incredible football mind. I've never met someone who's played with him who doesn't love him, understands the locker room, understands the dynamics. I think he will be an extremely successful head coach. Last year, when they were having the talks about him going straight from player to the Texans, there was like this, again, we understand it. You become the face of privilege, right? Like there's a process, there's people in waiting, and yes, there are. And so you're stuck. I think he's going to be a great coach, but then there's the process. Jeff Saturday is a little bit of the same thing that I feel people literally fighting for their lives on, because you know him and you're like, yeah, he will be a great head coach. He has all the makings, but he completely circumvented the process. And honestly, even if he is good, the situation, the conversation, all these things will play in to his eventual failure or success, because now you're dealing with factors outside that you didn't consider when you were thinking about one day possibly getting the opportunity.
Yeah, Andrew Hawkins here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's talk about the rest of the league. When we first had you here during the season, it was first blush. You talked about Mike McDaniel.
Yep.
And how he was teaching you some things when you were together in Cleveland, and how that will play out for this offense. That went pretty viral as well.
It did.
You know, like Dolphins fans were loving that conversation. And so you were showing how good this team can be, and barring the Tua injury, we're seeing it. What are you seeing now for the rest of the season? Are you thinking it's an Eagles world and we're just paying rent? We saw what the Chiefs just did. The Bills just lost to the Jets, and we'll have to take a look at Josh Allen's wing, to use a Buffalo phrase. What do you make of the rest of this season right now?
Yeah, I like the Eagles. I like them. I think it's going to come down to the Chiefs or the Bills, because they have two quarterbacks that are playing the best. And honestly, I know we get bored with Patrick Mahomes. He's still the guy. He's still the guy when he wants to be. It has been consistent since the day he stepped on. It's a very weird thing for me that we don't talk about him as much, but he plays lights out all the time, and he's a very tough person to beat. And the only other quarterback that I see playing at his level is Josh Allen right now, because of the way Josh Allen is, big, physical, can throw it 75 yards in the air, and he has the weapons on the outside that, they're hard to argue against.
So we yesterday put a poll question up at Rich Eisen Show: Bills, Chiefs, Eagles win the Super Bowl, or the field?
Or the field.
You would choose.
I would Bills, Chiefs, Eagles.
Bills, Chiefs. I did as well. Do you have the final poll results
on that? I do.
Actually,
there's an hour left of this.
Okay,
if you want to vote at
okay.
Rich Eisen Show right now, or give us a call. Bills, Chiefs, Eagles, 53%. The field, 47%.
So which one would you take from the field if now I'm forcing you to do
now
so?
You're forcing me in there. Okay.
I'll tell you which one I would choose from the field.
Who is that?
49ers.
You like the Niners?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I do, seeing what they did last week, 2 weeks ago, before bye, after which they're going to get healthier. McCaffrey scores 3 different ways. Kittle scores. Ayuk scores with McCaffrey throwing it to him, and they looked like that.
Yeah.
And Debo didn't even suit up.
That's a good point.
And they're defensively really good, and again, they get healthier, and I like them.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me type of situation with Jimmy G. I love Jimmy G. Late in that I think they're going to go deep in the playoffs.
Okay.
That's why I can't get over the 49ers. I'm not because he's a bad quarterback. I think Jimmy G is good. But they're like, you got to have somebody that is going to take that play on himself. I think Jalen Hurts can do that. I know Patrick Mahomes can do it. I know Josh Allen can do it, right? So, like, they have the talent everywhere on the field. Can Jimmy G sit in there and say, I'm going to make this one play to win us the game? And we've seen those in moments where he hasn't been able to do so. You can get over that hump. Your time will come. Maybe he makes those plays, once every 4 times, and this is the year when that play happens, he makes it, but he just hasn't done it. And I gotta, that's my obstacle with being all in on the 49ers.
Well, and looking at you answer, Andrew Hawkins, I can still see T.J. Jefferson behind you with his big Dallas star to his left.
Yeah.
And I will ask you what I'm sure he wants me to ask you is why not the Cowboys?
The same thing I just said about Jimmy G, the whole thing on the Cowboys. I like they're talented. I just don't see him get. We go through this every year with the Cowboys. No offense, TJ. Me and TJ are like basically almost related. Did he tell you that?
I did not know that.
And I hate to play into the stereotype that all black people are related.
But in this case,
but in this very rare case,
what is
what we're saying?
We basically did a deep dive last time I was here.
Okay.
TJ's family is from my hometown. I'm like, oh yeah, I got Jeff. Like, basically it's like my cousins are his cousins, like on different sides of the family, which is just a weird small world thing, isn't it?
I mean, it's crazy, but I'm not shocked. Like,
So
because I've always known he was from Johnstown because, I've known him as a player and everything he's done.
Sure.
So I always knew Andrew Hawkins was from Johnstown, and it was always like, yeah, he's probably my cousin. Then I hit up my mom, and then she hit me back. It's like, well, yeah, that actually is your cousin.
So then your Cowboys take is a family feud then?
It's a family
It
feud.
is now,
It's
and I
gonna
took
come up
offense.
at
You
the
said no
reunion, I'm
offense,
sure.
but I took offense.
Yeah.
So what is
We'll hash it out.
then what's the who's
team.
the Jimmy G in this equation? That you said you didn't trust Jimmy G, couldn't get past, fool me twice. Then who's the fool me twice? Just
Coaching.
It's McCarthy.
I don't think it's I don't think McCarthy has it to get over the hump. I like McCarthy. He's successful. He had Aaron Rodgers, but I mean, do you feel like he has what it takes to get over the hump there?
Here's what I think. I think that we were talking just yesterday, going back and forth on text, like because I'm now addicted to doing top 5 lists here on the show after hating lists for so many years.
Glorious.
I'm a full convert now.
He's addicted.
And these guys were like, you should do a top 5 MVP list, but non-quarterbacks. Okay, top 5. And I went back and forth, like, who would be number 1 on that list for me? And I'd put Micah Parsons there.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
I would.
I don't mind that.
Tyreek Hill, man.
I don't mind that either.
That's a
I
good one,
understand
too.
that. I understand that, but one team 6-2 and another team 6-2, 6-3. No, I just think Parsons is like, you take Parsons out because I know that's the conversation of MVP.
Sure.
That you like to have, like, that's your Hall of Fame argument. Like, can you tell the
write the
story,
story? Yeah.
right, without this person?
Bingo.
Okay, so you take Parsons out of that defense, that's a
still
whole
nice.
different ball of wax. You take Tyreek Hill out of that offense, there's still some pieces that you can win a game or two. I'm not, and that's, as you know how I feel about the cheetah. The disrespect is not real, but that's what. So the defense is that good, and I don't know.
Who's the second person? Because I feel like on those teams,
It
you
could
need
be
like
Tyreek Hill. It could
you
be.
need like 2 people on a team that are like, whether it's a coaching player, quarterback, like someone like Micah.
Micah and Tank Lawrence. One and two.
No, how about this one? You want to talk about the little twist here? The second person on that team, who's the difference maker, is Tony Pollard.
Tony Pollard. I knew you were going there.
Damn straight, I'm going there.
Yeah. So you think it's his job?
How is it not?
How is it
no
not?
idea?
No, hold on a minute.
You have
And
no
every
idea.
time, hold on a second. Every time I say this, people are like, "You hate Ohio State. You hate,
Well, you
because you're
do,
Michigan."
but-
No. Zeke is a world class, all time great pass protector at the running back position. So him being a 3-down back is real, okay?
Yeah, yep.
And him moving chains is real. And him putting it in the end zone from the 5-yard line, 10-yard line to give you some good red zone action is real. Home run hitter,
They're few.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Nuh-uh.
He's not home run anymore.
so this is what I'm talking about. Like, that's a different offense.
Yeah. Okay.
And what if they had Odell?
Yeah, I think Odell helps him. I think Odell helps anybody.
Of course.
Yeah, I think he helps anybody. I don't know if it's like, I like Tony. I need to see a little bit more from him to say like, oh,
Of course.
those 2 things make them better than the field, right? Like, and I don't think that's it. Even I would say Miami, if you asked me to pick a team, because of Tyreek Hill and because of Mike McDaniel. I don't want to go back into the same thing we talked about last time, but
Go ahead.
I mean, it's shown so far this season, the way he game plans, the way he calls plays, the way he has this offense rolling. You hear his players talk about it. I think he gives them an advantage against the teams that they're playing, as does Tyreek Hill. So those would be my 2 people on that team. On the Dallas Cowboys, I have to see more from Tony because he's popping. But once everybody catches up to say, okay, well, now we're going to go trying to stop you. It's one thing to do really well. My first year in the league, my first year starting in 2012, I was going, like, people didn't expect me. I was catching the ball and I was out 50 yards here, 70 yards there. And I'm like, this NFL thing is easy. And then once they were like, okay, here's how, now we're going to key on you. Let's see what you do. It was a lot harder then, right?
Yeah.
So I need to see Tony get over that hump. If he's a guy, if they go with him,
Yes.
I need to see him get over the hump once people make the decision to say, okay, now we're going to stop you, Tony Pollard, and make somebody else beat us. What do you do in those moments? That defines whether you're one of those those premium guys.
By the way, I'm not saying bench Zeke like don't use him.
Yeah,
I'm
of
not
course,
saying that.
no.
I want that out there. And just again with the Dolphins, their passing game looks like the old Miami Dolphins of the Shula days, like Marino and the Marks brothers, right? And the run game are the Miami 49ers. They literally are. I mean, like Mostert, McDaniel signs him in the offseason. Go get me Jeff Wilson Jr. out of San Francisco. The minute they acquire McCaffrey, go get me him. He scores. So the run game's like the Miami 49ers, and the passing game looks like the Miami Dolphins of old. Put it together, and
you got something.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue that.
But you're still not taking the field.
I'm not taking them. I'm not taking them.
Status Pro and NFL Pro Era. Check it out right now. And how can people just get the game? What can they do? Just
Oculus. Okay. We're launching on Steam VR in December. We'll be on the PSVR 2 when that comes out in Q1 of 2023. You can get on PSVR as well. Anywhere you can get VR, you can get NFL Pro Era.
Look at that. Lamar
Definitely
on
check
the
it out.
cover. He had a great game last night.
He did, man. He's a superb athlete and quarterback.
By the way, the conversation we just had, a whole bunch of people were like, why not the Ravens? I mean, they hardly play. The only winning team, I guess, the team with a winning record left on their schedule is Cincinnati, and they're 5-4.
The only question I have about the Ravens is on the outside.
Outside, just receivers.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, just Deshaun Jackson. He came off the practice squad last night.
He did. Didn't he leave with a hamstring injury?
Facts.
That's my guy. It's tough when you get older, man. Those hamstrings go.
What a drag it is getting old, no doubt.
Rich, let's talk about the Cheetah's 40-yard dash challenge.
Oh yeah.
See what he thinks.
When we had the Cheetah on Friday, and I invited him because he was talking about his family foundation, and I said, hey, we'll make a donation to the family foundation. How about you running my 40-yard dash against me? And he told me that he would give me a 30-yard head start and still beat me.
well, Rich offered to give him 20, and then he accepted, and he goes, yeah, I'll give you 30. So it was just ooh.
I feel like every 4 months I see a Tyreek Hill 40-yard dash challenge to somebody, something, and I love his confidence. I'm taking you.
You would take me?
If he gives you a 30-yard head start, Rich, I'm definitely taking you. And if you lose, I may never talk to you ever
Would Rich
again.
win a 20-yard head start, though?
20-yard head start
Like,
would be
how
close.
close do we have to go? Like 17, 18
'Cause 30
yards?
is a lot.
Something like that?
Yeah, it would probably... Rich stops being the favorite at like maybe even 22 yards would be a close
22
one.
yards.
22 yards would be a close
But
one.
30, he said the disrespect is real.
30 is crazy.
That's what he said.
I mean, you
Even
can
admitted he
literally
was being
do 3
disrespectful.
hops and get to the 40.
Okay, fantastic. At Hawk on Twitter and IG. Roku recommends check out you and Maria Menounos every single Thursday. New episodes drop. You're part of the Roku channel family.
Shout out to Roku.
Anytime. Congrats on everything going on.
Thank
with
you, sir. Appreciate
and thanks
you.
for coming in here early on a Tuesday.
I'm going to see you at
love
the
it.
next
My
family
pleasure.
reunion.
Yeah, and you guys are going to hang out in the next family reunion.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.